Darshan, welcome to the space economy, your destination for the business of space. First off, I humbly apologize. Crazy, silly day today. So we're running late. I apologize for that. Did not mean
That's
to stand you up.
I understand. I have seen your YouTube channel and George's Twitter and your LinkedIn feed too. All of you are doing such a great job of spreading awareness about space economy and space in general. I really appreciate that.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's just jump right into it. Who are you? I feel like you're dialing in. We're having this conversation. I'm in Washington, D.C. I believe you're in Mumbai. Tell us about yourself and how you got into space. Go.
Yeah, so I am DarshanD, which is short for my full name, DarshanD, also known as Darsh Davis. I am from Mumbai, but I've been working as a writer for a Walmart-based company since 2019 remotely. And I'm a space generation and space kind member, management finance graduate, finance advisor, and content creator, science communicator. And I have been into space since 2020 because, like everyone, I always thought that space is so cool, but I never thought about it as important. But in 2020, when there was Corona pandemic and all of us had so much time to be online, I attended NASA Social's Launch America event through Facebook group, and I realized that space is spreading so much positivity and there are so many enthusiastic people. So after that, I discovered uh, the analog missions from high
Mhm.
seas Hawaii, and I thought that this is an important research going on which is preparing all of us to go to Mars. And from there I discovered space generation. I joined it and I started writing for an astronomy magazine called Infiniscope, and also became an intern officially for 2 months and successfully got the certificate, arranged a conference about aspiring astronauts.
Mhm.
It is an annual conference. I was one of the members who helped with the report, and then I realized that there is this space for humanity because in space kind training, which is the course that really made me feel that space is important, and also helped me to develop my personality. And in the space kind, Loretta Hidalgo Whiteside from Virgin Galactic, she taught us about space and everything. And in that course, I met Executive Director Rachel Lyons, who is Executive Director of Space for Humanity, and
Mhm.
he was in the news thanks to Omaze campaign from Virgin Galactic. And from Space for Humanity, I learned about Frank White, The Overview Effect. And The Overview Effect is a popular book and it's a philosophy which allows us to think beyond our nations. And I
Uh-huh.
thought that space is doing such a great work. And Space for Humanity itself, the organization is doing such a great work trying to unite people and thinking of Earth as our home instead of countries with borders. And this is the reason why I think that no matter from where we are, we should be a part of space and space industry, and space economy affects all of us, and we are affecting space economy whether we know it or not through watching media or through campaigns such as Omaze or through watching this video on YouTube. Like we are contributing indirectly or directly to space economy. And this is how I got into space. And besides podcasts like the Celestial Citizen and Space Explorer, I Belong Here Science podcast, a Solid for Kids podcast, and Casual Space podcast, one of the most popular ones from Bethman. These podcasts also helped me to realize that space economy and space industry is not just about space, it's about humankind, and it's also about science and
Mhm.
making humans uh, a multi-planetary species, and also caring about Earth and climate change and other issues. And because NASA's science or the NASA's missions are helping us to study Mars, Moon, and Earth. And
Uh-huh.
through our application of space studies, we can actually help to improve our planet, home planet. And this is why I think space is important. This is why I'm so passionate about space.
I love it, Darsh. Can I call
Thank
you
you.
Darsh D?
Yeah, you can call me Darsh too. Darsh is small for Darshan, so it's easy to pronounce, short, saves your time too.
All right, fair enough, Darsh. You brought up some really key points. I cheated and I took some notes. So I'm going to read them really quickly. I love the fact that you've been interested in space since third grade. I think the younger you get interested in space, the better it is just for your brain and creativity. I'm going to circle back and talk and ask you a question about the Space uh, Generation Advisory Council. So don't let me forget that. Um, one, I just had a correspondence with Beth Mund right before I had this conversation with you, because we're doing a podcast with her shortly, just to interview her for her awesomeness, because she's just awesome. I'm a big fan of hers. But one of the most interesting things that you brought up is you said you got to think beyond our nation. You have to think of Earth as home. I think this is really important, and we don't really talk about this. Sometimes we talk about the space economy. We get so focused on that $450 billion in US dollars in terms of 2021 that is a space economy, that we forget the bigger reason that we're developing space, that we have launch upstream satellites, in-stream data downstream, and then of course exploration. So Earth as home, I love to call this spaceship Earth, because
Exactly.
I forget who said this. They were saying how 250 million years ago, the dinosaurs saw different stars because they were on the other side of the galaxy. Because spaceship Earth is moving at 8 million miles per hour through the galaxy. And so in 250 million more years, the constellations, the stars will change. What we see will change because the Earth is moving through the galaxy. And it's just a spaceship, it's its own self contained spaceship. But we don't often think of it as Earth is either a spaceship, or B, as home. So I love how you're bringing those points home. So I want to go back to your role at the Space Generation Advisory Council. Can you give us a little insight what you do there and why you're so passionate about it?
Yeah, like I said, and like you said, the Spaceship Earth, a Space Generation Advisory Council, the organization which was honored by Blue Origin too through their funds of the Future Fund. And I think Space Generation Advisory Council aligns well with the overview effect and planet Earth as home, because I have seen their great giant leap and many other events
Mhm.
and many other opportunity posts on social media. Space Generation Advisory Council, even if it's kind of a decentralized, because there are lots of different sections according to the regions, but still it's a United Space organization, non-profit organization, which is trying to provide opportunities to young people like you and me in space industry to make a difference in space industry, and to have their voices heard. And because what I do there is just promote their social media posts and be one of the operations member, because I have joined in May, and I have still a lot of work to do in Space Generation Advisory Council. And I've seen so many great people there. And one of the most inspiring people for me is Xenia. Space Xenia is on Instagram, and she's the social media manager of Space Generation Advisory Council, and she's also a mentor of many space influencers, Space Xenia. And her work and Space Generation Advisory Council's work is to help people to train as space influencers and someone whose voice can be powerful. And one of the reasons why space influencers are important, because the science communication part, we need to let normal people know, not non-STEM people know why science and why space is so important, especially when we are arguing about issues like climate change, poverty, or drought. And it
Mhm.
all comes together because, like I said, space economy affects everyone, no matter who there is, which nation is there, and
Mhm.
from where you are from, in which country, or which industry you are from. And this is something that science communicator can provide insights to. like why space is important, how it is affecting you, how it is helping climate change. Like a lot of people do not know that many good inventions like solar panels and mobile phones, especially the touchscreen mobile phones, were thanks to the space in research by NASA. And
Yeah.
people were so surprised when I mentioned that they were like, "Oh, I thought space is only about making humans go to space or just as launching satellites." But no, space is actually helping us in so many ways, and we did not realize that. So it is like science communicators like you and me, or science educators like Kevin J. De Bruin. He's one of the
Mhm.
space kind members like me, and he's a former NASA JPL rocket scientist turned professional space educator. He's one of my inspirations when it comes to science education or science communication, because we need to make people aware about the importance of space. And I think
Mhm.
your YouTube channel and your brand is doing such a great work in spreading awareness about space economy, because I haven't seen many people, many brands spreading awareness about space economy, except the Foundation for Future, their conferences about
Mhm.
space economy, venture capital, etc., and their conversations for future, which happens every month. And your YouTube channel is among the first, I would say, who's trying to spread awareness about space economy and the effect of space industry on economics as a whole. So so much kudos to you and George.
Well, Darsh, first, if you're listening or watching this, my name is Samson Williams. I'm an anthropologist here at the Space Economy. And so we didn't actually pay Darsh for this ringing stellar endorsement, but we super appreciate it because we are focused on the economics of not only the space industry, but the space economy. Most people think that the folks who build the rockets and the satellites, that's it. But it's like, oh, there's a much larger economy around that, around the space industry. And Darsh, you brought up a really keen point about science communications or science communicators. And I wrote it on my notes. It's the role of Instagram and social media into demystifying space exploration, and science. Actually, it's really just like science, it's hardcore science. But when you can visualize it, when you can see it, it makes it so much more easier for your mind to digest. So thanks for bringing that up about the folks on Instagram who are inspiring you, because I think visually we need to use that medium to engage even more young people. And you called me young. I'm super old. I've got some gray hair somewhere over here. And so I'm super happy about being young for the moment, because talking about space, it makes me feel young. So um, I do want to ask you, from your opinion, your exposure since the third grade, where do you think the space economy is going, and what role do you want to play in it? Go.
Okay, before answering that, I would like to say that if Wally Funk is not old enough to go to space, you and I are also not old enough to go to space unless we turn 80, 90. So age is just a number. And we can
It's
also
true.
learn from Frank White, who's inspiring so many people. And even if he's so elder, like he's still so young because of his spirit and because of all his thoughts. So we can learn a lot from them, from Wally Funk and Frank White. And now answering the question, space economy, like in the previous 80s, 90s, it was more and more government focused economy. And this is the reason why normal citizens felt like it's full of red tape, or it's just government matter, or it's rocket science, or like complicated kind of stuff. But now space economy is going to rely less on government funding, as we see that 2021, which I think was the year of space, because there were lots of commercial space flights from Inspiration 4, SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic. And I think in the next decade, the space economy is going to have more private players, more private companies, and government spending itself is expected to increase at least, uh, but it all depends on Congress, but it's expected to increase. And even if it increases, it will be less reliant on government, because we are going to see civilian space flights, we are going to see even professional astronaut space flights, Like there is a Space for Humanity Citizen Astronaut Program, and they're gonna be well expensive, but they're gonna be at first they're gonna be expensive space tickets from commercial players, but eventually in a decade or two we are going to see some affordable tickets. We both might be in our 50s or 60s or even later when we see space economy becoming as awesome as aviation economy, where we can just buy a ticket and go anywhere through planes. And space economy is going to be more integrated to other kind of sectors. Like we don't see a direct relationship, but now after Inspiration 4, I realized that space economy is affecting entertainment industry, it's affecting media and a lot of different sectors. Like indirectly from behind the scenes is affecting investment, like in SpaceX, and also there was NFT. And so there's gonna be new innovations coming up. Like NFT for Inspiration 4 was going to help, and it did help St. Jude's Children's Hospital from Memphis, Tennessee. And another part is that space sector is going to help philanthropy. Like Inspiration 4 was so important for me because it supported cancer cause, cancer and other pediatric disease research from St. Jude's. It raised so much money for such a good cause, and we are going to see many more charities being supported. Like Space for Humanity itself is a charity, and St. Jude's is a direct charity. Like it's a hospital, it's curing children, it's saving lives. So we are going to see more participation of private sector and non-profit sector, and we are going to see more participation of the government. And another point is that there are going to be more nations who are going to join space, because we saw that China, UAE, and many other, even UK is planning a rover there for the Mars and Moon. And there's going to be more nations who are enthusiastic about it. Even India is a developing country still, but it's planning its Mars mission and very soon. And there are going to be more civilian missions. And the consumption. So I wanted to talk about consumption. Like I said, media, and to media and through purchase of merchandise or through purchase of tickets. But we cannot say about tickets because it's only a small percentage of rich people or high net worth people. If we say from economic terms, high net worth people are going to purchase tickets, but it's a kind of consumption. So and zero G experience is also a form of consumption, and it's all related to space industry. And even if your channel gets monetized and people watch this video, it's also a sort of their consumption helping your channel, and your channel helping space economy and YouTube as a whole. So it all is a connected world, and it all relates to each other.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Darshan Deshpande. So we're talking, this is Samson Williams here on the Space Economy, your destination for the business space. We're talking to Darshan Deshpande live from, I'm in Washington, D.C. He's in Mumbai, India. Darshan, as we wrap up, I want to point out to whoever's watching, whoever's listening, Wally Funk, she was about 80, 81 when she went up on the Blue Origin flight. The Priceline guy, also known as William Shatner, our Captain James T. Kirk from Star Trek, he's slated to go up soon. And he's either 90 or 91. So they're just demonstrating that even if we often think of only young people go up in space, but the average age of an astronaut, I want to say, is 43. We can fact check this later, but it also shows that there is space, as a lot of space, regardless of your age. So thank you for reminding me to stay young. I really enjoyed talking to you. We're going to have another conversation in the future so we can talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and the role of blockchain in the space economy. But for the moment, Darshan, really thank you for taking the time out to just share your enthusiasm and your interest and your wisdom. We will definitely be in touch. Until then, I want you to stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next orbit, okay?
Thank you so much. It was so fun, and it was pleasure connecting to you. Thank
Likewise.
you for this opportunity.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.